Hi, I'm Allison.
And I'm Nikki.
And you're watching Colorado Sports Connection.
Welcome back to Colorado Sports Connection. We're talking with former CU Buff and NFL All-Pro Chad Brown. Chad, now you went from CU, then you go into the NFL, I believe, for 15 years?
Yes.
Talk about your stops in the NFL.
Okay, I did my first 4 years in Pittsburgh, and I can't imagine a better place to start my career. To, go into the weight room in Pittsburgh and see Rod Woodson literally burning the motor out on the treadmill, and Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green, pushing themselves in the weight room and being a part of that Steeler tradition, but also with the players who I played with, realizing the hard work it takes to be a good player in the NFL. So I had great role models there. I ended up doing 8 years in Seattle after I left Pittsburgh. After my 12th season, I went to New England for year 13. Year 14, I went to training camp with New England. I broke my hand. I really couldn't help them out with a broken hand, so they ended up releasing me. And I signed with Pittsburgh again. So I went to Pittsburgh 10 years after I left the first time. And that was pretty cool to go back, and 10 years later, and still see people wearing my jersey, and kind of full circle on my career, which is where I started. And I thought that's actually where I was going to end up. I was going to retire after that season. And then before my 15th season, I'm hanging around the house, and there's a phone call, and it's from Massachusetts, and it's Bill Belichick again. Hey, I want you to play. And I don't think he turned down Bill Belichick. He said, all right, I'm going to go be a part of that. And so I was a part of that undefeated season until the Super Bowl. So that was my 15th season in the league. So that's kind of the story of my 15 years there in a tight nutshell.
What is it like? Do you play in a collegiate national championship game, and then I believe you play in 2 Super Bowls?
Yes.
I mean, as an athlete, it doesn't get any better than that.
I would have liked to have won one of those Super Bowls.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do have a Super Bowl loser ring, not a Super Bowl winner ring, but I've got my national championship ring, and I chased that Super Bowl obviously for 15 years, as long and as hard as I could have. So because of the effort and intensity I put into it, I have no regrets. I certainly would have loved to have won one, but I put all myself. I put everything I could into it, and I squeezed every drop of juice out of that orange I possibly could. So, great ride for 15 years, but no regrets.
We're getting close to wrapping up, but before we do, talk a little bit about your special shop that you have here. I believe it's in Littleton.
Yeah, actually, we closed the retail store a while ago, but I breed reptiles, and I sell captive-born reptiles from my facility, and I sell and ship them all over the world. I produce a couple thousand baby reptiles a year, mainly ball pythons, which is probably the ideal pet snake if there can be one for someone who's maybe not a snake person, probably like yourself.
So if somebody's looking for a Christmas gift, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
You can find us at proexotics.com. Hit us up on the internet and send me an email, and I'll get back to you about what we have available and when we can get it to you.
What got you into this? I mean,
I've always been an animal person. I've always been fascinated by animals. As a kid, I loved watching Marlon Perkins' Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And,
I remember that show.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone from our era probably does. So that was pre-Crocodile Hunter and all those guys on TV now. But I was always fascinated by animals, and there's not very many wild animals you can bring into your home. Growing up as a child in California, I kept fish and birds. But I got to my college campus, and got my first snake, and 1 turned into 2, and 2 turned into 12. And once I got into the NFL, I thought, I really enjoy this, and I'll build a business doing this, and that's what I've done since I've retired.
It's been an honor having this opportunity to talk to you, and I've always been a Bill McCartney fan, and now I can see why the success he's had, because he's recruited men like you, and it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet you. And if Coach Mack does come back, and I'm sure he will, hopefully he does, he will get more men that have your integrity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for coming to the show.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the show with Chad Brown, and we hope to see you next week right here on Colorado Sports Connection.